Hey, Mbili Mwanza here, and in today's video I'm going to present a case to try and convince you to get your business online. Now, I spent the last 10 years in sales, marketing, web development, and so on in multiple industries, and today I just want to share with you why you must consider getting your business online. So how do you know that it's about that time? It's about that time to get your business online. Well, like many of our clients, you've probably been hearing this over and over. When you're having a high-level meeting with some people, maybe abroad, sometimes if you go on these funding websites and so on, trying to apply for funding, most of them will ask you for a work email. Now, a work email is a professional email, www.yourcompanyname.com, right? And if you don't have that, some companies will just not even consider you at all. So if you feel this has been holding your business back, this is the video for you. Let's just go back to the basics of economics. We're talking about the factors of production. Now, the factors of production are the entrepreneur, land, capital, and labor. Now, what these are there to do, they are there to give a business some leverage or a competitive advantage. They allow a business to be extremely productive. Let's start with capital first of all. If you have capital as an entrepreneur, your business has capital, you can be able to outcompete most of the businesses in the market. Capital is one of those leverages. How you identify businesses that will always be stuck and never ever scale are those types of businesses that are always trying to get things for free. Elite entrepreneurs always know that to get far, you need to invest money. If your first thought in each and every situation is to get something for free, or how you're not going to spend enough money, unfortunately for you, you'll be stuck at a very low level. Capital can allow you to take over markets. How? You can be able to outspend your competition in marketing and get known faster than them. Organic growth is good, quite right, but it takes a long time. If you want to cut short the process of growth and actually grow real quick, you need to really invest money in branding. You need to invest money in all the tools that can be able to get you some leverage. That's where capital comes in. We talk about labor. Now, labor, we all understand. It just helps you to multiply yourself so that you can be able to achieve a big goal in less time. Most businesses start as a one-man army, right? But at some point, if you find product market fit, you're going to understand that the more orders come in, you're not going to be able to manage all those by yourself. So you bring in somebody. Why did you bring that person in? Because that person is going to cover some of the things that you can't cover by yourself. And as more and more demand comes in, you'll be able to bring in more and more people so that you can be able to cover all those big tasks in less time. That's what labor is. And the more labor you can get, the faster you can get your goals, right? Then the entrepreneur is the one who manages all these. They are the person who takes the risk. They're the person who initiates the idea and so on. The entrepreneur is also a competitive advantage, but they need to be properly well developed. This individual does not need to stop learning. Now, you don't have to learn anything, but they have to be a master of each and every function of their business. They have to be very knowledgeable. Now, land is where our interest is. Now, land can also be a competitive advantage. First of all, if you own the land as a business, that's a plus, but we've all heard of location. The reason why that concept is that the better you are located, the more business you'll be able to get, the more exposure you'll be able to get, right? And the more your business will be able to grow. That's about the land. Land is where all the productivity happens. Now, why did I say this particular factor of production is our main interest here? It's because today's land is the internet. And for you to get a piece of that land, you need website hosting. Now, website hosting is what allows you to rent a space on the internet for yourself. Without any website hosting, unfortunately, you are missing out on millions and millions of customers who are searching for exactly what you're selling right at this moment. So elite entrepreneurs know that you need as much leverage as possible, and there is nothing that is more leverageable, that equalizes the whole market and gives leverage to the people who take advantage of it, than the internet and than a website, especially if that website is designed with proper intention. So I challenge you today, go out there and get a piece of that land over the internet. The internet is the prime real estate of today's market. Now, a website can allow you to do many things. One of them being that credibility that we talked about, where you'll be considered for many things. If your emails are professionally branded with your business name, you get a pass on most of the website and you get respect for most of your suppliers. If it's properly well designed, it's got proper speed, the host doesn't have a long downtime, well, that increases both your conversion rates and your revenue. Let me just give you an example about a website being well designed. If a website is well designed, designed, it means that it's able to load fast. Now, just increasing the loading time increases your conversion rate by 7%. That is just increasing your loading time by 1%. Now, if you make 10,000 in a month, that's an extra 700 on top. Now, if you're a business who's making $1 million, that's about an extra 700,000. So you can extrapolate this to as much as possible. So hopefully, I've presented enough points that will allow you to consider getting your business online. But how do you exactly get your business online? Like, let's talk about the how. The how is, first of all, you need to secure a domain name. A domain name is www.yourcompanyname.com. For us here, it's www.rubiconhosting.com or www.rubiconventures.com. Then you need hosting. Now, hosting comes in many different shapes and sizes, but the most common type of hosting is shared hosting. Shared hosting in that the resources are shared among many different businesses. And this is for small businesses just coming up who don't have much traffic and so on. The more your traffic increases, the bigger the type of hosting you need to get. Now, shared hosting can range anywhere between $10 to $30 in a month, depending on the functionality that you're given by your host. Now, there's going to be a time where you're going to outgrow shared hosting. So the level above that is going to be VPS hosting. VPS hosting is, of course, much bigger, it's much faster, and you're the only business that is hosted on that particular resource. So your host is much faster and can be able to handle much more traffic. So one thing about traffic is that the higher the traffic you have on a website, the slower it gets. That's why at some point you're going to outgrow shared hosting. A level above VPS hosting is dedicated hosting. Now, dedicated hosting is way bigger than VPS hosting. It's much faster. You're the only business on the resource, and of course, it's for businesses with multiple resources, and you can be able to host multiple businesses on that particular resource. For small businesses, dedicated hosting is overkill. But if you've already built a name for yourself and your business already has a lot of traffic, maybe it might be something you might consider. Also, this is for businesses that sell online and host customer data. So this is very secure, and most of these big online stores, mostly they host their businesses on dedicated hosts. So for now, these are the things that you should look at. Cloud hosting is also something that is above that. Cloud hosting is also very good, very fast, and so on, but it's overkill for many small to medium-sized businesses, right? But it might be something you might consider as you grow your business. Here, we do not intend to stay small. The whole goal is to become big businesses that will be able to have that enough traffic, and at some point, and as I've told you, you don't need to always be looking at how to get something for free, how to get something for cheap. Sometimes you need to invest in something that will be able to give you enough leverage. So at some point, we're all going to invest in dedicated hosting, because that will be what will be enough for us at the type of traffic that we're talking about here. We have to grow to millions and millions of customer visitors, right? So that's about hosting. One thing to be careful of before you consider and actually take the step is not all hosts are good for your business. Some years back, before I started my own hosting platforms, what I would do is that when I design a website for a client, I would actually even secure the hosting for them. There was a particular platform that I was using to host all my company websites that I designed for my clients, right? At first, this was a healthy platform, but unfortunately, as time went on, these guys got greedy, so they changed the whole back end of cPanel. cPanel is what runs most of the websites in the back end. So they changed the whole lookout and gave you very little access to control your own website. They used to give free domain names, but what that came with is lock-in contracts, meaning that they will lock you in a contract for 2 to 3 years, meaning that you can't shift or move your website elsewhere. For all the needs at that particular time, they can't meet your needs, right? But they'll still have to hold on to your data. Because like it or not, if your company is growing and if you're really serious about business, you intend to grow, and as you grow, there will be all those emails that will be coming in, supply emails, invoices coming in and whatnot. All that data will be stored on their email service, so you just can't up and leave the data with them. That's how they hold you, and they just keep you stuck in that particular host. So actually, some of the clients that I actually did all that for, unfortunately, we can't move their data at this particular moment, unless some of them that were brave enough to say, oh, to hell with the data, I'm moving on with you to your new platform, and we started afresh with them. But those who don't want to start afresh, and because they've kept too much data with them, they've just stayed with them, unfortunately. So you have to be careful of such type of hosts. If a host says they'll give you a free domain name, just run. We talked about free things here. Don't go for free things. Just buy the domain name. Once you buy the domain name, it's under your control. You can shift it anywhere. It's under your control. It's your money. Then you can do the hosting anywhere, and you can shift your data. Have full control to cPanel. When you have full control to cPanel, you can be able to shift your website, and you can be able to shift with your data. But if they've not given you full control, like that host that I was using for my clients, unfortunately the way they've manipulated cPanel such that you can't get your data and up and leave and go elsewhere, so you're just stuck with them, which is very, very bad and very, very evil business practices. So be careful out there. Like I've told you, I have my own hosting platform. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description for my WhatsApp. You can be able to reach out through WhatsApp if you're interested. We can be able to set you up and help you get to that level. We can be able to take care of you. If your needs become too much for us, we can also be able to suggest and actually recommend any other service that you can be able to go to in case we reach that stage. We can probably be able to assist you all the way up until you get to dedicated hosting. We can be able to assist you. We can be able to upgrade from our plans all the way up until you get to dedicated hosting. So that's it. Like, share, subscribe. I know you have that one business friend that can be able to benefit in this. Copy the link and share it with them. They can be able to benefit. YouTube also thinks you might find this video helpful. Watch it and see you in the next one.